Aloha! Welcome to the Aloha Friday with the Sandwich Island Social Network. My name is Kamaka Brown, and we are so delighted to have you on board for our weekly video podcast with interesting, fun conversations with island people, island hearts. As you know, all of our guests have some connection to the 808. And by the way, the music you just heard was from production of the Sandwich Island Social Network called Mauka, California, 808 Makai. And that music by Kealoha Veloria and a number of other island artists living here in Southern California can be found on that project on iTunes download, or you can purchase the CD. All kinds of good music on that project. Also, we'd like to share with you that Sandwich Island Social Network is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. If you would like to be a sustaining member of our ohana, please go to patreon.com/Sandwich Islands 808, and you can find out information of how you can be a sustaining member of the Sandwich Island Social Network to help us continue to do the work that we do in our community as well. You know what? I'm really excited about our guest here for this Friday. And first of all, a big shout out to Kumu Kioki Wang, who is Hula Halau na Mama o Pane'ewa, the Kumu Hula. And he made all of this possible, that I have an opportunity to meet one of his Haumana, and she is here. And she is here this morning. She is so lovely, so delightful, and she's a busy lady. I am so excited to be talking with her. Carolina Espiro. Welcome.
Aloha, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on board. Thank you so much. Enjoy chatting with you before we went on the air. Oh my goodness, what an interesting story you have to tell. Starts in Chile, and it goes over to Los Angeles, and the rest is history, as they say. Before we begin, we have lots of our friends that are already chiming in. We want to say aloha. So many of our friends. First of all, we have Trina. She's saying aloha.
Aloha, Trina.
Trina is a hula dancer. She dances. She's out in northern San Diego is where she lives. She's out there. We have Marty Burns saying aloha. Friday cock. Get the shaka sign. Who else is joining us? Oh my goodness! Everybody is having. Oh, here's a buddy of mine. Jim Eaton. He goes, hello. I have my spam sandwich. I'm ready to enjoy the show. Right on, brother Jim. Brother Jim lives up in the San Diego area. Santa Barbara area. Where Big Jim is. Yeah, that's nice. Let's see. Oh my goodness, we have many of our friends all the way from Hilo. Mark Yamanaka.
Aloha, Mark. Oh,
love that, brother.
I miss you guys.
Mark was a guest. Last week. And so happy about crossing rain. His son is with his great.
I couldn't believe it. I had a double take. I'm like, wait, that's his son. Oh my gosh. So happy.
Hey, Mark, thanks for jumping in, brother. Thanks for jumping in. Here's Jim Stockton. What's up?
Hi, Jim.
So nice. Oh man. So many comments. My thing is going crazy over here. I love it. And by the way, there's saying hello to Trina. Big hug. There as well. You know what, Carolina? I have to be careful. Who's watching? We got to be on our best behavior. Yeah. Gotta be careful. Dorothy. Aloha, Dorothy. says aloha. Yeah, the comments are coming in. I want to make sure I say hello to everybody. Yeah, here's Pat Kramer. Hi.
Aloha,
From
Pat.
Glendale. Beautiful down Glendale. Yeah. Like Glendale. I have to go to Galleria, spend all my money.
And Americana now.
Americana, yeah.
Nice, very nice.
And ooh.
That's my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Hola, mommy.
Show would not be complete without
Representing with her Miley.
Yes. Okay. So let me see. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, Kamaka gonna pull out the Makuli card. But I think I got everybody that's on board there. Everybody wanted to say hello. And so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and hang out with Carolina. And myself. So Chile, age of two, you end up in the city of angels. You're brought up. You go to school. You are looking at wanting to enter into show business, entertainment. You go to. I'm looking over here. Your bio is just amazing. You went to what school did you graduate from with your BFA?
Chapman University.
Chapman University. Yes.
Chapman University.
With a major in
theater and dance.
And dance. Okay. And then at some point now you wanted to take that leap there from, it's good to have the paper and but
it helps.
There's a lot of folks walking around with the certificate, the paperwork. How did you get from saying, hey, I have this and I trained for this to where you are now in terms of the biz?
It's funny. A lot of people in industry go back to their colleges, and that's exactly what they ask us, like, how do you get my diploma, and then what do I do? And if I could go back to my younger self and give that advice, that would have bought me a lot of years. But for me, I started as everyone else. I became a waitress. I was a bartender. Because those were the only jobs you could have that allowed you to be free enough for auditions. So luckily they gave us that advice in college. They're like, make sure you're available, because when they come either night before, sometimes day of, sometimes hour of. Can you be there now? And you have to be ready. So anyone with a typical 9-to-5 job, it's very difficult to be an artist. You have to have availability. So that means working at night. But from there, I started doing theater, which allowed me to connect with a lot of different people. You start to build your own community. And luckily, my family, although is in Southern California, they were, at that time, I believe they were in Chino Hills. So they're about 2 hours away from Hollywood. And, so you build your own community. They become your family, and there's only a certain amount of people that really get your life, get what you do, because you can't date someone who's not what I call a civilian, someone who's not in the industry, because you have to explain to them why you can't go to the Valentine's dinner that he planned for you for 2 months because you have an audition. And they'll be like, but you don't even get money for that. I spent all this time. Like, that's our life. You have to surround yourself with people who understand that you have to be available any second of the day. And you have to do that without getting the money yet, because you have to audition. So from there, I started you try to get an agent. So you submit. You finally get an agent. Agent can't get you auditions. You have to get a new one. Finally got a really good one who said to me, you're Hispanic. but you're not fluent in Spanish. I'm like, well, I'm not really looking to get into a telenovela. I was just looking to act. She's like, but Latin actresses are the big thing. Ethnic is the big thing right now. You need to learn Spanish. And at that time, my rent was up. I just crashed my car. The guy I was in love with told me he didn't love me back. And I was like, I need a change. So I was like, I'm out, So I told my parents, I was like, I think I'm gonna move to Chile. And they were like, really? I was like, yes, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna live there for a year. I'm gonna live what it's like to work there. And learn the language. And I did. I went for a year. And it was amazing stepping away from the industry and just kind of living like a civilian. But learning where I come from, learning why my parents have certain, perspectives on life. And, it's one thing to grow up knowing you're Chilean. It's another to live there and breathe the air and breathe the culture and understand it like experientially. So that, and then, gosh, learning a language so I can speak to my grandparents, so I can speak to my family and hear their stories, something I never had before. I mean, it was just me and my parents here in this country. So we became very close, but I didn't have that. I didn't have, 30-person Christmases, and going back and having that experience was just so eye-opening. And then when I finally returned, I came bilingual, and gosh, within months, I got my incredible agent, Hugh Leon, who I'm still with at Coast to Coast. And within I believe 3-4 months, I booked 3 national commercials, and I said goodbye to my day job and never worked one again. And that is what started the whole thing.
Commercials. Now, we can see you in ads for AT&T, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Target, New York Life, Walmart, Juicy Fruit, Kia, Toyota. Just hello.
Yeah, wow, that was a lot. It's been a ride. Yeah. Right now you can see me in AT&T with she's a Latina rap artist. Her name is Becky G. So it's for AT&T Comcast commercial.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, AT&T. What was it? Yeah. So we were there, and she is gorgeous. She is so. I mean, a superstar. And I'm just here playing a mom on my laptop. And she just kind of looks at me. I'm like, hey. It's just like, hey. It was just like, wow, So that's there. And that's kind of like, I would consider my day job. It is my bread and butter. It pays the mortgage, puts food on the table. And I'm so grateful for it. It's completely changed my life.
So you have on from commercial work, voiceovers. Now you have reoccurring roles on the FBI. You've been Criminal Minds, Beyond Borders, Days of Our Lives, sitcom with George Lopez, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hello. There is such an amazing body of work. I asked for, and you're so kind to send this, and I wanted to share this with our friends over here. Here is Carolina. Here she is. Get ready, folks.
Hey. I don't like people stealing my spot.
Are you the cops?
I don't care about the law. I care about what's right.
Told him not to go. You knew it was dangerous and you went and you bought him a ticket anyway.
Our mother wanted Rodrigo to go. She told me right before she died.
You shouldn't have listened.
Look, I know this is hard, but I need to ask you about Rodrigo. Is he the type to pick up a hitchhiker?
No.
Unless she was a pretty girl. It's not like he was a creep or anything. It's just girls loved him.
Hey, don't you guys have some dogs to walk, white kids to raise, something to Swiffer?
Hi! I left the couple alone watching the TV.
Abusive family. No. Never. I was desperate. I would have done anything. Done things I otherwise wouldn't have. All for your daughter. You can't know what it was like to finally see her. I do know. I understand that mother's joy. It's the joy of seeing how happy she is. You've come to take her back. Yes. How will I tell her? I don't want her to think I'm sending her away.
You all good, hon? Are you still waiting on a friend?
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
All right, then. No hurry. Here, let me clear that. Excuse me. Sorry. I think I got a shock. Static electricity or something.
I don't know what happened. All she did was touch the guy.
Hang on.
You have to promise not to freak out. You said he was allergic to peanuts. You didn't say anything about peanut butter.
They make peanut butter out of peanuts.
Well, I'm not a food scientist.
Hey, Susie. How are things going at home?
I know you're not supposed to throw water on a grease fire. Well, I know now.
They make peanut butter out of peanuts. Who knew? Who knew?
It was so funny. I was trying to, it was hard not to laugh during that one. That was so funny because her face is like, it's just so good.
Oh my goodness. We just saw, we binged the new Reacher.
I know.
I loved it. At last,
I thought he was CGI. I was like, is that a real man? How is that even a creature of what?
he has no neck. He goes head and then boom, shoulder.
Muscle. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And someone was saying, at last, if you've read the book that Reacher is based on, he describes him as that character,
Yeah,
not
that's
as
right.
this
He's supposed to be tall.
5'4" Tom Cruise. You know?
Fun fact, the jacket that I'm wearing in that promo was the jacket that Tom Cruise wore in the movie.
No.
Yes. I almost lost it when I heard it, but I was like, oh, this fits well. All right, I guess he's my size. Same jacket though. It was pretty cool.
Pat Kramer says, "Yay for Detective Gates!"
That's my role on FBI.
Yay!
Yeah, it's a great
wow.
excuse to fly out to New York. It's a really great excuse.
Here's another great friend of ours. How's it, Kamaka? Welcome, Carolina.
Mahalo, see.
Yes, he's one of our great folks that join us every week from the Andy Bumatai Daily Pigeon Show. She's part of the Hamajang gang, and she comes and joins us as well. So now you've got commercials and television, and you've got theater, and now Uehe, Ami, and Slide comes in. The hula comes in. Detective Gates, Ola for McDonald's. They make peanut butter out of peanuts. And now comes Hula Halal Namamo o Pani Eva. Hello. Help me make the connection.
Yeah, I know. I get that reaction a lot. I mean, obviously it all started when I joined Halal, but if I'm honest, it kind of started, my connection to Hawaii started earlier. You know, my mother, actually both my parents always loved going to Hawaii but you know, we went for vacation. We were the tourists. We went to the luau. We did all of that. And I remember looking on stage and seeing hula, and I was like, oh man, I would love to do that. But I'm like, yeah, but I can't. I'm not Hawaiian, you know. That's what was in my head. So, sure. I mean, I danced everything else, you know. I studied everything else. But, you know, and that always made me a little sad. But something interesting happened. I went once when I was 7, once when I was 13, again when I was 16. But an interesting thing happened where I started having these recurring dreams. I remember in my teenage years and into my 20s and it was very vivid. The colors were very vivid, but I was on the island and I was just happy. I was just content. It was just this serene peacefulness. I couldn't imagine, I can't imagine, I don't know how to describe the feeling I felt, but I woke up and the minute it dawned on me that it wasn't real, I became extremely sad, a couple times to the point of tears, and I didn't understand what that meant. And I'm trying to like psychoanalyze it. I'm like, well, maybe the island, represents, who knows? I don't know. But it just kept happening and I almost didn't want to dream it again because I didn't want to wake up to that sadness again. And it wasn't until I went to a reunion, a college reunion, a theater reunion. And there were all people in the theater department and dance department. And I talked to a girl there. She wasn't a friend in college. She was kind of like an acquaintance. But she was a hula dancer, and she had all of her pictures on Facebook, and I was just like, I told her, my God, so beautiful. I've always wanted to. I wish I could. And she's like, why don't you? And I said, well, I'm not Hawaiian. And she's like, girl, you don't have to be Hawaiian. Just like 90% of hula dancers are not Hawaiian, I mean, it's not about having Hawaiian blood. It's about having the love for it. And I'm like, what? She's like, come this Saturday. I went that Saturday and have been every single day since that I was committed. She's like, just so you know, when you join Halau, it's not like you're going to some, salsa class, it's a commitment. It's it's a community. And I was like, yes. What else? I got it. I'm in, whatever. I don't care, So, and then the more I got involved with the, just learning the olelo, learning the pa'i, the drums, the storytelling, I just realized it was everything that I loved all meld into one, because I am predominantly a storyteller. And I will use whatever I can. If it's my body, if it's my voice, if it's my face, if it's my acting, everything to tell that story. And what a better way than hula, because it's not just, I hear music and I'm going to dance because I'm feeling like dancing. It's about the words. It's about the hakumele, what he wanted to say or what she wanted to say, and then all of that history behind it, and putting that into a movement. And then, I mean, just so many intricacies. It reminded me when we studied Shakespeare in college, because, you go see a Shakespeare play and it's like, what are they saying? I'm going to have to look can someone tell me what this is? It's hard. And so to prepare for a Shakespeare play, you have to get your book, you have to get your 2 dictionaries and look up every single word. Every single word, and every word has about 1 million different meanings. And it all depends on which story and what's happening that'll tell you what that meaning is. Because in Shakespeare, unlike a lot of other plays and all of that, it's important, at least in our school of thought, to know what Shakespeare originally intended to say. And to do that, you have to do the research. So when I got into Halau, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to do that again? Look up every single word. What did the hakumele really want to say? And then you show with your body, you show with your face, all of everything. The singing, I was so happy. I was so happy. And so when I finally flew back to Hawaii, I was like, and then the dreams, I remembered the dreams and that extreme happiness. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
And and the funny thing is I have met several people like that who have experienced that. Some that have no connection to Hawaii whatsoever. They just went, but they came back and it was like it hooked them, and they can't let that nagging go, and they don't know why. And some maybe join halau, some just listen to music, some go to all the shows, and others just like it's a longing, and I can't describe it, I can't explain it.
I just had an aha moment, There's a reason why now that I had such a hard time with Shakespeare is I didn't understand the kauna.
Yeah.
Right? You have to understand the kauna behind what he's saying. And hello for all of the mele, the olelo. If you don't know the kauna, what's going on over here?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's just, a flower is pretty. There's the mountain. Here comes the rain. It's deeper than that, and it's the same. It's same with Shakespeare. And there's so much sexual connotation with Shakespeare.
That too. Talk about that. Here's Trina. She said, talking about the Tom Cruise jacket.
The jacket.
I would have accidentally take the jacket. Oop. No.
I thought about it.
No. The people at Wardrobe, they either have your voucher or they have something important, your driver's license or something. You can't leave set. If you take home any, you can try.
Yeah, it was a cute jacket.
There's Stacy Young. Can't wait to have you here in New York.
Oh,
Mahalo nui, Kamaka, for hosting the admirable and the adorable and the delightful Carolina.
Stacy's one of my best friends. I love her to death. She's always there in New York supporting me. She's really deep into the Hawaiian community out there. She was kind of like my little home base when we lived in New York for a year. Because I was there because my husband was on Broadway doing A Children of a Lesser God. So we lived there for a year. And then I was like, I had to do my classes remote. My hula classes remote. But then we got an agent out there. That's how I found FBI. But connecting with her allowed me to stay connected to the Hawaiian community in New York, which is very tight-knit, smaller, but very close.
Yeah.
So through her, I was able to go to the museum and do a lei demonstration for the New York Botanical Museum when they had a special Hawaii month there. It was beautiful.
Here's
Mailani.
Here's Mailani. Aloha nui e kamaka. So stoked to see Caroline.
Oh, another one of my best friends. She's my Pico in Hawaii. She's my Pico there. Love her. I went out with her. She invited me to be part of her Mailani Academy. So my husband and I went out there to teach like teenagers, aspiring actors. And we taught a workshop there, basically prepping them for if they ever move to LA to become actors. It's a whole other world business. I mean, it's one thing to learn how to act, but the business involved, it's crazy. So I was so happy to go out there to help her with that.
Stacy, love you. For you, as you said, being part of halau becomes a lifestyle. You're part of the family. It's not something you check in, check out. And the kumu hula make sure that those that are accepted into the family become haumana, understand that. And as I see here, you becoming involved in all of the work and the things that are necessary, right? Look at this.
Right.
This is work. This is hard work.
Yeah, this is our ho'ike. I'm helping debone and the tea leaf for I think it was for the kaikamahine. We were helping them out. That's such great memories. I can't wait till May when we do our next ho'ike. It's been a couple of years now because of pandemic. So that's the best part, coming together and working together to build the lole and all of that.
And while we're talking about ho'ike, let's share that right now.
There it is.
That Namamo o Paneheva, an afternoon of hula and Hawaiian music and aloha, May 22nd at the Lanternman Auditorium. I've been there. It is beautiful. And there's information there on the bottom. You'll see more of this as we move forward, but please mark your calendars for Sunday, May 22nd for the ho'ike for the halal, and Carolina will be part of that as
Yes,
well.
very excited about it. And yeah, if anyone needs tickets, you can follow me on Instagram, DM me, and I can direct you to get you some tickets there. We're excited. We're hoping it's going to be a big event because everyone's like hungry to get back into seeing live hula. So we have a feeling we're going to sell out. So
Yes.
make sure to get them now.
Exactly. I'm going to show this video that Kumu Kyoki sent to me, and this was very special. This was a celebration of life for the matriarch of the Nonosina group, and let's just watch this, and you'll see Kumu there, and you'll see Carolina as well. OMG. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Smokai
It was a
Waimaka.
rough time.
Smokai Waimaka
Yeah.
just watching that beauty. Mahalo, Kumu Kyoki, for sharing that. And such beautiful Carolina. Oh my goodness. So,
Well,
so,
Auntie
so
Rary, when we lost her, it just shook us. It shook us. She was, it was really hard. When Kumu said we were gonna do that dance, and I'm like, how am I gonna do this dance without like ugly crying?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It was actually an interesting lesson in sharing a story when it involves sadness, is that you're celebrating, you know, the wonderful, the good times, just she's ascending. She's, you know, think about that. Let that put a smile on your face, and
yeah.
it was hard, but it helped to kind of lift it, you know?
Yeah.
And that was my mother dancing right next to me. And to kind of have that support there. And you know, for any hula dancer, to be able to dance with your kumu hula, it's so rare and such a special time. But I'm glad we were able to do it.
Here's someone you might know. Here's Matt.
Gorgeous.
That's my husband. Gorgeous.
Hi,
So amusing. We have to agree. We
My rock.
must agree with that. We're just about halfway through, and we're going to take a little break for just some little bit of messages and some information. So we'll be right back. So every Wednesday, there's a video podcast that has absolutely no social redeeming qualities at all. They have no clue. They have no script. They have no pants. They're known as the Baboose Crew. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. right here. And it is silly, it is funny, and is meant that way to bring some humor and to bring some laughter. And it started when the pandemic started out. We said, let's bring a little bit of levity. And so thus came the Baboose Crew. Yes, always room for one more on the porch every Monday night, 8 o'clock. We have a virtual gathering of Hawaiians and Hawaiians at heart, and we tell stories, we laugh, we share recipes, we talk food, we talk pidgin, we talk aloha. You're welcome to come join us on the porch every Monday night, 8 p.m. right here as well. Yes, indeed. Members of the Gray Ohana are going to be with us next week, Friday, talking about We Are Samoa. It's going to be really, really fun. We'll be talking with the children of Jerome Gray and the celebration that's coming up as well very soon.
Attention all you adults. Get the COVID vaccine. As we get back to school, it's important that we mask up and vax up. We want to play with our friends. For more information, go to pacificislanderhealth.org. Give it a shot.
Yes, indeed. You know, the Across the nation, Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders are being disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. So the Southern California Pacific Islander COVID-19 response team aims to provide information, resources to help our community stay healthy and safe. And right above me, you see pacificislanderhealth.org. That's the place to go to learn more information on what you and your ohana can do to protect yourself. And a big mahalo to the Southern California Pacific Islander COVID response team. Great folks, and mahalo for being one of our sponsors to help us do the work that we do right here on the Sandwich Island Social Network Aloha Friday show. And if you just join us, hey, where you was? You late, man. Come on. You know, how rude if you just came aboard, you know? In fact, go home, go already. No, just kidding. Welcome aboard. Welcome back. And I think we're doing good so far because Carolina has not run away screaming. She on it, man. She's on it. So far,
the music keeps bringing me back. Just rocking out.
Rocking out. Oh my goodness. In the meantime, oh my goodness, the comments have come in so excited, folks. Let me see. Trina says, Kumu, I want tickets. Yes. and Kumu responded, DM me. I will definitely help you get tickets. And Trina says, I love my baboozes. Yes, Trina is with us. She's one of our babooz crew every Wednesday. Oh, we have good fun. See, thank you. Babooz crew is the funniest 1 hour show. Oh, thank you. The face sore. I can tell it's a good show because at the end of the babooz show, I go, oh my God, my face is sore already. Oh, too much laughter. Here's Dr. Ken Ing. He said, we also talk behind each other's back. That's how you know. That's how you know you're loved. Oh my goodness. Carolina, you shared, and I wanted to share this one because and I'm looking forward. I want to make sure I grab it because you mentioned this several times. Oh, man.
Oh, that's my mama.
That's mama. And the fact that you and she dance together and share, you know, those experiences are so precious. So precious. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been dancing. She put me in dance classes when I was little girl, and so she's seen like performances after performances through competition in high school, everything, and she's always in the stands just cheering and all of that. And it really was like she was living her best life for me, because she just when I joined Halau and I saw that we had, you know, haumana from little keiki all the way up to kupuna, I told her, I'm like, Mom, why don't you join? You have as much love for Hawaii as I do. And you're an incredible dancer. I've seen you dance cueca, Chilean folk dance. I've seen you. I'm like, you can do it. She's like, oh, maybe. Okay. So she joined. And that picture is from her ho'ike, her first performance. And she was such a natural. Like, she had her smile. And I'm like, are you nervous? She's like, no, not really.
There's Elena.
She was great.
She's saying,
but being on the side of the stage, filming her, it being reversed, watching her perform like she did for me, it was a small, tiny little give back that she gets to have that spotlight, and she was beautiful. Getting to dance with her is so rare.
So beautiful, mom and daughter. I agree. And Trina says, beautiful. Yeah, such a beautiful thing. I mean, it really brings everything in full circle, doesn't it? When that happens and you can share. I also saw this year, and you and I were laughing about this particular one because I said, you know, this is the Rose Parade, right?
Yes.
And there you are. And I forget how long that whole trek for the Rose Parade goodness.
It felt like 20 miles. It was long. We were actually training on I don't know if it was a college racetrack or something. We, like, all of us went out there, and his timer was like, okay, you need to make it 5 times around this track. That'll tell you if you can handle it, which is good, because find out now if you can do this. Don't be dropping down dead in the middle of the freaking Rose Parade. So,
no can handle. What's the matter?
Okay. And I'll tell you what, my mom was there, and she did it.
My.
She did it. I could not believe it when she said, she's like, I'm going to try it. And I was like, you know what? She would be the last one. She has such a strong, like a power of mind.
Wow.
She can convince her body to go all the way, and she did. She did it.
That is
Props to
amazing.
her.
And of course, you were sharing earlier that in your younger days you were part of a marching band.
Yeah, I was in drill team.
Drill team,
so
okay.
we had to do march. We marched at Disneyland. You know, there's the parades at Disneyland. Yeah. We did so many parades, and it's very different to dance. You have to dance, but keep up with the band in front of you and not lag behind, because they're gonna, So I had all of that experience, and I was dance captain, so I was the one who called out cues for the dancers to slow down, stop up, all of that, because sometimes it would stop. So when that happened, and I was like, oh, I can help.
Who knew?
I would have the girls. We would be, because we had to learn how to kaholo, holo, holo, and step, add the hips, because you can't, there's no hula without hips. And we would go around the halau, around and around, basically dancing our mele from waist up while making sure our feet are in time. But on top of that, every song we do is in different tempo. Wow. So we had to try. It was a challenge, but it was the most amazing experience. I mean, not everyone can say they were in the Rose Parade. And we got to do it. It was so great. We're so lucky.
Okay. I came across something that is kind of historic. This little picture I'm going to share with you is said to be a picture from one of the top 20 iconic moments in television history. The top 20. And this is Lucille Ball in this iconic scene. And we're all familiar with it. We've seen it. That she is in this in Italy, and she is stomping on grapes. It's a funny scene. There's almost a fight that goes on. I saw this. I saw this, and then, forgive me, with my comic mind, I came across this with you. Now, hold the phone. Hold the Burgundy. Hold the Cabernet Sauvignon. Hold on. Carolina, explain yourself, please.
Would be happy to. So, as you know, actors tend to be multitasking, multi-talented. My husband, who is an actor, full-time actor, also helps teach Kung Fu at a Kung Fu studio, also is a winemaker. And this is his Viognier grapes. And this year is our first year. His label is called Fuil Wines, which is, it's Gaelic, Irish Gaelic for blood, but can also be family and connection. And it's a beautiful word. And so this was his first vintage. And he was like, you want to stomp on the grapes? I'm like, oh, Laura, like Lucy? Oh my gosh, yes, please. And hilarious that I actually showed up in my my halal gear. You can see me, those are my halal pants and my halal sweatshirt. And I rolled that up, and I'm on there. Oh, it's cold. It is cold, those grapes. But I was having so much fun. You could see in my face.
Oh,
it was
well
great.
played.
But it was Yeah, it was great to feel like I was putting my mana into it, right? That you're drinking, my feet was in it. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Like Maui says in Moana, you're welcome.
Exactly. And I don't even think Kumu knows this, but a chant was running through my head while I was stopping the drink. It was ulu kini o keaku. I was like, because it was talking about, the vai, and, you wanted to bless the vai and, be here, make this your koala. And I was like, because I wanted this vintage to go well, and I wanted the blessings. So I didn't mean to. It just kept running through my head.
Hey, Matt. Matt's sharing with us. Yes, there it is. You want to go find out more about the wines that Carolina was using with her own feet. Full wines, and you can go with. Thanks for sharing that, Matt. Absolutely, anything we can do to help the ohana here. Absolutely. Matt says she was the best.
Best stomper ever.
Best stomper ever. I don't see you. I have your resume. I don't see you over here.
I should put it on there.
You gotta put it on.
Should.
You gotta. Yeah, you have to.
I have alphabet backwards really fast, but I don't have grape stomper. Put that on there.
I saw that as special skill. Yeah. I'd be in trouble if I ever get pulled over for. I don't drink, but if I ever get pulled over and a road test, and they say I can't do it backwards. Even if I'm sober, I'd be in real trouble if I was drunk. Oh my goodness!
It's very funny you said that, because the woman who taught it to me was my fourth grade teacher, and she was a hippie. She was teaching us music from the 60s, Where Have All the Flowers Gone? She was strict. She was my favorite teacher in the world, but she was the one who drilled us to go backwards. And later on, we were like, is she preparing us for when we get pulled off? Because that's the only time I would ever use it. Until I put in my resume. And now every once in a while, a casting director's like, really? Okay, go ahead. I'm like, really? You don't want to see me to do them? Okay, here we go, I guess.
Carolina, I shared a beautiful evening with you and with a number of wonderful entertainers from Hawaii at the Grammy Museum. And I've got this beautiful video I want to share with our folks who are viewing this here with Grammy winner, multi-Grammy winner, Kalani Pea. Here he is.
Oh man, that was a great night.
Kalani's energy, you cannot sit still. I remember going, oh my, you just...
Oh my gosh. I mean, like we say, Kalani is not from this planet. He is from an island in the sky full of purple trees, energy, sparkles. I mean, he's just so exuberant, so much energy, and you can't help but, feel that when you're dancing, and in his voice and everything. Just, that was the day I met him. He is such an amazing, personality. I love him to death. He's so great.
And would love watching you hula to that great energy and that flow that evening. That was so special. That's so special. I hadn't met you when I saw that, but then when I saw the, I went, oh my goodness, that was beautiful. Now, you have something very, very special that I wanted to share. Your directorial, the right debut of a music video with a song written and sung by Kalani Pea. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Where was it? What went into it before? I want to show it, but give us a little teaser. Tell us a little bit about what we can look for.
Yeah, absolutely. It started out to be really was supposed to be a just recorded solo video that would have been a part of our compilation because we couldn't do Ho'ike because of COVID. So we were creating a DVD Ho'ike compilation. And Kumu gave me the great honor to be one of his soloists, and we were going to do this video, a solo video, just pick a place, do it. But he allowed me to kind of give a little bit of what my thoughts were on how I envisioned it, like what do I wear, all of that. And, you know, as a creative, my imagination went crazy. I was like, drone, and we could do this, moonlight, and so what he did is he said, let's do this. Let's create a video for the Ho'ike, but I'm going to encourage you to go and, do your music video, do something for your reel, make it how you envision it. Because as a music video, I really wanted to press into the storytelling of it, and still with the hula, because it is definitely an important part of the song and important part of culture in general. So I wanted to include that, but this allowed me to kind of dive into the kauna of the song, and I knew I wanted it to be in the moonlight, and that was a huge challenge because there are very, very few cameras that can handle that, because usually you have to bring in lighting equipment, or you shoot it at day and make it at night. And I'm like, okay, so we're talking songs about Hanalei Moon, all of that. And I was trying to find just footage I could buy to it. It doesn't exist. Nobody has Hanalei Moon footage, video, nothing. I'm like, are you kidding me? The most iconic thing. Nobody's gone out there and attempt to do this. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find a way. So I was researching and I found this camera, the Sony A7S III, that was supposed to be the new latest thing that could capture moonlight.
Oh my.
And it was a lot of planning involved to try and figure out, make sure the moon was in the right position at the right time of year, right time of night, right time of everything. Had to be the, the full moon. And the Mahealani moon, it all had to line up. And so, of course, I had to just go all out with it. I couldn't just pick a spot. No, I had to fly out to LA. But that's where my brain went. And if I was going to do it, let's commit.
So what we're going to see is no special effects with some CG moon and,
No.
This is the real stuff. And, this is Kalani Pea's Hanalei Ika Pilimoi, and you gotta watch it. You have to see it. Let's take a look at it.
ia mai ana ka puana lua ole hana lei I ka polai haina ia mai ana ka puana lua ole hana lei ka polai lua ole hana lei ka
OMG squared times 2000. Beautiful. So nani. There's Auntie Kate Bennett. She's going beautiful in all caps over there. And Trina says, "Oh my God, I'm crying again. So very touching." So many beautiful comments. Here's Jim, just gorgeous. So well done, Jim says. And Matt says, I fell in love with this video every time I see it. And you'll even feel even that much better if you're drinking one of Matt's wines while you watch. So pick up a bottle of wine. Yeah, as well. Trina says, I cried watching it. It's so beautiful. The mana is so unreal. That so sweet, so sweet. And yeah, so many comments come in. And here is Mama. I'm so proud of my girls. So proud.
Thank you, Mama.
So proud. And I know Alessandra, enchanting lady. Hi there, long time no see. We worked on a project together. Yes. I would like to share with you something you had said about this. You said, mahalo and aloha to my kumu kioki wang of hula halal na mama o pane eva for his teaching and endless support, to Nathan and Nanea, who brought years of professional experience, elevated my vision to new heights, to rising stars, Imani Kolan, who captured the character's passionate curiosity and innocent wonder so beautifully, to my talented husband, Matthew Jager, whose love kept me brave and vulnerable, and finally, to Kalani Pea, without whom my body would not move and my soul would not take flight. No words. I mean, it's just capsulates it completely. Beautiful.
I just cannot believe how fortunate, because of course the first thing we did was ask for his blessing, and the fact that he entrusted us to do this meant so much, and not only that, it also kind of put a bit of there's a lot of kuleana to make sure that you're representing that song correctly. And not only him, but as well as the other hakumele, Devin, Kamealoha Forest. They both wrote the beautiful words, and to have that just meant just so much, and really had to make sure that I was doing it right. I just spent so much work trying to make sure that every single thing was as the best I could possibly do, and everyone came through. There were so many possibilities for it to not work. The weather during the time we went in November, so North Shore, Kauai in November, there's rain, the waters are rough. There's so many things could have gone wrong, and I remember my Lenny, she saw it. She's like, I cannot believe how the water was just so malie, just so I've never seen the water like that. And you don't realize how many things had to go right for this to happen. And there was a time we were out there, and rain was gonna come, and we had to deal with clouds, and we were out there. We only had a certain amount of time because then the moon moves, and the clouds were all covered. And my husband reaches over, she's like, did you kunihi tonight? And I said, oh, I didn't, because I did it every night we were there in every location. She's like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. He's like, maybe you should try. And so part of me's like, well, absolutely. The other part of me, what if it doesn't work? What if that means this whole thing is scrapped? There was just so many things that happened. But I did. I went, and at the very end, we just had a little. She came out to say hi, and they're like, "Quick, roll the camera!" But actually, the first kunihi was the scariest moment, because that was my first asking permission. Can I do this on your land? And I knew what it meant. It meant turning around if I did not get some type of reply.
Yeah. Wow.
So we went out. I had incredibly, at the time, my DP was testing the camera, so he was actually rolling when it happened. And Matt and I were out there. I had Nathan and Nanea were there. And so I began to kunihi, and it was still. No wind, no nothing. I'm like, oh gosh, oh gosh. And I was like, okay, well, my kumu says you keep doing it until you hear something, you see something. And so the third time I kunihi'd, I looked over, and all of a sudden I heard, wah, 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 wah. The nene were there, had arrived, and started to call out. And I looked over, and I looked at Matt, and he's like, that might be it. And I was like, I think it's it too. And incredibly enough, when I was editing the video, I wanted some type of sound in the beginning of the video, because I knew I wanted to start in silence as I walked out into the field. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I was like, oh my gosh, hold on. And so I went to the behind the BTS, the behind the scene footage, and there it was, my kunihi. And at the tail end, he recorded the sound of the pane, of the reply. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm putting that. And that's what we hear in the beginning of the video, is the cry of the nene of my goodness. Yes. I was like, I can't believe that's happening. We have that. And anything Manu, I'm like, yeah, because it's, it's the name I was given. So I'm excited that it came from that. So, and another thing that could have just killed it is I didn't realize I went out there for the full eclipse of the moon. And during a time where we really needed to get a shot. And I was like, oh no. And I needed to get a shot of my husband out in the water, coming out of the water. And the clouds were covering, And my husband is terrified of deep sea, and definitely terrified of not being able to see in the water, and it was pitch black.
Oh my.
I had to look through the camera to be able to see what was in front of us, because the camera could see what we could not, and it was pitch black. And he was nervous because right at that point, that time of year you have sharks, there's a deadly jellyfish, box jellyfish. All of those things, he's like, I don't want to get out here. And so I was like, okay, I am going to Oli. And I am going to ask for the spirits of the water. I mean, anyone who listened, really, please protect my husband while he's out there. And I did, and I all my heart I did. And in that moment, the clouds covered the moon, and the rain started. And I said, okay, he needs to get out of the water. Let's go. We can't get the shot. And I had to give up that shot, and I was so sad. But then I was like, look, I asked somebody to protect my husband, and somebody got him out of the water, maybe for a reason. So,
sure.
Okay, just trust it. And so we got out of the water. But after that, that's when the eclipse of the moon happened. And so we just all laid there and watched it. And I just realized the connection with the mele to what I was witnessing, especially the third verse when it talks about the name of the song, Hanalei Ka Pili Moe, I was given, I would talk with my kumu about the kauna of the song and all of the different levels of meaning. And, Pili Moe, he would tell me that was the name of the kapa cloth that was used during the ancient games of Puhenehene, and the kapa cloth was called Pili Moe, and it would, when you lift that cloth, it would reveal the game piece they were looking for. So the use of Pili Moe to me just seemed like that is the loved one, that is the unveiling in that moment. And so I started to see how much that started to reflect in the whole experience of making that movie, including the eclipse of the moon. So as the eclipse started to unveil, I'm like, oh my gosh, Pili Moe is happening right in front of me right now. The uncovering, and it was just so many things, countless things happened like that. And another thing that was a huge aha moment was when I first arrived. Kauai is a magical island. It's like everything I never seen before, the energy there, the beauty there. And when I arrived there, we arrived at night, all of a sudden I recognized what I was looking at, and it was the vision. It was the one in my dreams. Because when I came back to Hawaii, to Oahu, and I've been to Hilo and all of that, the feeling was there, but never what I envisioned. I'm like, well, in a dream, everything is so like pristine, glowing, I'm never going to see that. But when I arrived to Kauai,
wow,
there it was. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like my dream. And it just all kind of came together that way. And Beautiful. It was more than anything, it was just validating. It's hard. It's so hard for... We are Haumana in Southern California, or actually anywhere on the continent. We are so blessed if we can have a kumu hula that has a piko to Hawaii or is from Hawaii. Yes. But on top of that, we come in with our Western thought and our Western ideas, and he not only has to teach us hula, he has to teach us the culture. He has to teach us, by the way, back in Hawaii, this is how we do things. And it's like, you have to learn so much more. And as an olapa, as a haumana, you are sitting there trying to emanate something, emanate a people, emanate a culture, a history, and somehow figure out what it's like to be there, to be them, to live there, to breathe there. And so to have that opportunity to fly and to experience, smell the rain, feel the wind, it's an opportunity we don't get a lot.
True.
And then I started to realize, it's so funny when you start to do something you're drawn to, but you don't know really why until afterwards, Yeah. And I started to realize that I love the music videos in Hawaii. I love the music, the musicians. I've met so many that have been so kind to me, that have reached out friendship. And I'm so blessed to have that. But I would share these videos with people from California, and they're like, oh, it's so pretty. I mean, I don't know what that means, but it's so pretty. And I just realized that those music videos can really connect to people from Hawaii because they know the language, they know the hula, but you go beyond that, and the appreciation of the music and the visuals is there, but kauna is lost. Not even, because sometimes there's 5 levels of kauna, not even top layer, like nothing, I mean, so that's when I realized, I'm like, I want to visually be the subtitles for people out here. I want people to know that this song is a love story. I want people to know that it has to do with discovering, like, your true love, discovering, and that's why I put my husband in there, and so that. And the most validating thing was when my dad saw it, and he's like, so wait, so when you do that movement, that means moon, and he starts asking questions, and that's enough. You just get that curiosity, and then they start to answer them, and then they get hungry for more and more. I would love be able to be that interpreter for musicians, so they can that will help them to transfer over. And what better way to start with Kalani, who's already started to make that bridge. You know, being a Grammy Award winning, people are already starting to see the beauty that Hawaii has.
Well,
and
you
I'd love
have
to be that vessel.
you have such a wonderful platform to make that happen. You know, with your years of experience and with your networking in the industry, theater, movies, right, television, opportunities that may avail themselves where that mana'o that you have, that information that you have will come around and definitely be useful to help educate too. Here we have Layla. She says, "Mahalo, Kamaka,
Hey, sissy.
for having my hula sister on your show today. I'm so proud of her, and everyone needs to know how wonderful and talented she is."
She was my sister dancing with me at the Grammy event. That was her.
She was there.
That was her.
We have
love
quite a
her.
few, quite a few more comments are coming in, and I didn't want to miss out on any of the beautiful comments. So forgive me if I miss out. And here's Mom. She's my beautiful Manu flying across the sky. Inspiring nature and ohana. And that's your dad right there. That's Dad saying she's my beautiful Manu. Oh, Mom and Dad right there. And let me see. So many other comments. Here's Trina says the ancestors knew you were there to spread your aloha. Absolutely, and you could feel that. We have many more comments, and e kalamai for not getting to them. We have, can you believe? Oh my goodness, the hour has gone by. Larat. And we have...
Talk forever.
I know, right? We could talk, and so fascinating. Carolina, mahalo nui piha for sharing your time with us today. So many beautiful things. Real quick, Urban Nature Man is a web series on YouTube. Write that down, you guys. Urban Nature Man, okay? And it's a web series with Matt Jager here on YouTube. You can watch it. I saw some clips. You're going to love it. Unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity to go into it, but maybe another time. We need to do part two. That'd be fun.
Right. No, absolutely. Well, it's, speaking of roping in my family, I just finished production on my short film starring my mother.
Avon Lady.
About Avon Lady.
Yes.
Yes, it's based on a true story. When she came to this country, she became, like many Hispanic immigrants, became an Avon lady.
Wow.
And struggling with the language. It's a comedic short about this woman who decides to face her fears of speaking English and going and in the beginning she's just a fantastic failure. Like she's horrible at it. But then she meets like a customer who takes her on and helps her make the sale, telling her she didn't need a language to be able to communicate something that she loved. And I'm just seeing like a theme that I'm doing. It's all about communicating and, in different ways. And she's so good at it. She's so funny, you guys. And I'm going to I'll be putting up all the things. So yes, please follow me on Instagram and you'll be able to see what comes up.
My mom was an Avon lady, so I know about Avon. Oh yeah.
She was.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh, so you're going to really relate. Yes.
Once again, mahalo nui loa, Carolina, for coming on. Thank you so much. So many blessings as you move forward. Keep in touch with us. The door to our hale is always open to come back and update us on wine, on the urban, what was that? The Urban Nature Man, your new, what goes on with Avon. We've got more to talk about. So, but for now. For now, we're going to bid you aloha and mahalo. And thank you, everyone. And so, Carolina's going to go back to our virtual green room. Aloha no. And off she goes to the green room. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Aloha Friday with the Sandwich Islands Social Network. So much fun today, right? Oh my goodness. And all kinds of chicken skin and all kinds of stuff too. Thank you for joining us. We love having you on board. Please join us next week, Friday, for We Are Samoa. It's going to be a fascinating a story about the Gray family here in Southern California as well. We wish all of you the absolute best. And we're going to bid you aloha as we go out here today with more music from California 808. And here we go.
I'm waiting for your phone call. It's already way past noon.